Hi there, and welcome to session 2 of the Personal Power series. Today we're talking about fear. Fear is tricky because it sounds like it's a negative thing, but what we know is that with everything there are two possibilities. There's always a possibility of living in the world of connection, which we talked about last session, or the world of disconnection. The world of connection is driven and powered by the soul's voice, the Yetzer Tov, and the world of disconnection is powered by the lower self, the animal soul you might have heard, or the Yetzer Hara, which is the negative inclination to self-sabotage and stop our growth. So it's interesting with fear, because we also have the option with every character trait and quality. We also have that option of using it to live in the world of connection or the world of disconnection, which is what many of us are familiar with when it comes to fear. So it's interesting, in Ecclesiastes it said God made one as well as the other. What does that mean? It says that in any reality in life there was always the potential to do good and to be holy, and to do bad or evil and be destructive. So too here. Let's explore it a little bit more deeply. The word for fear is yira in Hebrew. Yira. Yira also means not only fear, but to see. So it's curious, like, what's the connection between fear and to see? So it says that the connection is that the essential choice of life is to open our eyes and see the reality, the consequences of our actions. And we should fear the consequences of avoiding reality. We should fear the consequences of avoiding reality. If I don't think ahead and think what's going to be, so then I'm in la la land. I'm apathetic, I'm indifferent, I'm cut off, I'm asleep. And really the goal of living in our true power comes from the fear of seeing the consequence of what might happen if I do something or if I don't do something. And this type of fear connects us to our power. If I actually can think ahead and think what are the consequences of my actions or inactions, then I live in my true power because I can make a choice to do the right thing in that moment. And imagine if you ask a teenager, take out the trash, and the teenager just shouts back later, right? They're not really thinking it through. And imagine if you said, well, if you don't take out the trash, you're not borrowing the car later. Boom, all of a sudden that teenager is rushing up to take out the trash because they fear the consequences of the reality of what might happen, right? So in a way, that can be a fear that's being driven for good, because there is a natural consequence. If I don't help my parents, I'm not going to be a good person in general, and it's not the right thing to do. So in order to motivate to do the right thing, there's a natural consequence if you don't help out, right? That's so too in life with us. There's natural consequences to everything. So on the other hand, fear can come from a lower self. Fear can come when I'm self-focused, self-absorbed, and I'm not necessarily connected to reality. So let's just say I'm scared to mess up about something. I'm scared to fail. I'm scared that I'll die. I'm scared I'm going to get hurt. All these fears of rejection and fear of what might happen. Hasn't happened yet, but what might happen, right? Not based in reality, based just on my own inner fears and past reactions. So that fear is a negative fear. That disconnects us. It moves us into the world of disconnection. Usually it results in paralysis, procrastination, distraction. I'm avoiding things. I don't want to do whatever it is I know that I really could do or should do or would want to do, right? I'm not achieving my potential. And that fear, I often call it the what if syndrome. So one of the ways you can tell which fear it is, whether it's a positive fear or negative, does it say what if this happens? And is it connected to anything in reality? And if we fuel these fears, they really will disconnect us, right? It's disempowering, the opposite of empowerment. And what will happen is the Yetzer Hara will use different scenarios to play it over in our minds, right? All the negative things that are going to happen. And the scenarios that don't even exist. Maybe they happened once in your life ages ago, but right now they don't exist. And they incite our fear internally, and then we react as if those scenarios are real. That's how it works. We really believe that the fear is real, right? I'm really going to fail, so it's better I don't try, right? And this really blocks us. This is one of the biggest blocks of living in our power. My favorite definition of fear, of this type of fear, the negative fear, is false expectations appearing real. False expectations appearing real, because it's so powerful. Okay, so just recapping. This negative type of fear, the lower self, comes from disconnection to reality, which includes disconnection somehow from myself or from others or from a higher power. And healthy fear that motivates us into our power, and we like fear, right? We'll jump out of planes we'll do all sorts of things like this type of fear, right? This thrill-seeking type of fear, or this healthy fear that motivates us, is from connection to reality. So taking a weighed up risk is scary, but it also can connect us to amazing transformational changes, right? Think of even just jumping out of a plane, bungee jumping, rappelling, all these like basic fears, roller coaster. We know we're going to be scared, but we know that we're safe, so we can take the risk. And I think that that's the key difference, is that knowing with your mind, logic, that this is a calculated risk worth taking because it can lead to something good, so connected to reality, and then feeling the fear and doing it anyway. Not letting fear be the governor of your actions, right? Which is what we do. We feed into our fears and we let it decide for us. And I think that that's the key thing. I don't know if any of you have been rappelling. When you're literally standing over that cliff, your whole body is trembling and shaking, but your head knows you're safe, that you're on a harness, you're on ropes, and you're being held. So what do you have to do? You have to push past the fear, and you literally have to just feel the fear and step back off the cliff anyway, right? I think it's a powerful metaphor for what we do in life, and what we need to be able to do in life, to have that courage and have that commitment and that choice to doing what we know to be the reality, even though we may feel scared. And that's what builds our greatness. That's what builds our power. And we're really unstoppable if we can do that. So let's practice an internal exercise. And if you've got a journal as well, I'm asking some journal questions about this, because I think it's really important to get to know our own fear. So getting comfortable. Make sure you turn off notifications on your phones and do not disturbs. And just sit quietly in a space that hopefully you're getting used to focusing inward with, and just taking a deep breath and letting ourselves close our eyes and just settle. Again, it's better to have a fixed time of the day that you know that you're more alert than sleepy, and sitting up rather than lying down. And just allowing ourselves to arrive and be here in this moment. Just knowing there's nowhere we need to be, there's nothing we need to be doing. Just letting ourselves gently relax. Moving our awareness from head to toe. Body scan. Just gently, as we move through the body, letting any tension release and relax and let go. Moving all the way down your body. Just letting go of any tension easily and effortlessly. Just allowing ourselves to drift deeper and deeper and deeper into this place that's still, calm, relaxed, but alert and aware. And it's in this place that just allowing ourselves to be however we are. No expectations, just whatever is, and it's okay. Just creating an awareness of allowance. Just notice that sometimes that feels really nice, feels like a relief. I want you just to gently let a memory or a situation, scenario come to your mind of a situation where there's something you've wanted to do, perhaps for a long time, something moral, something not harmful to yourself, but somehow your fear or your hesitation has held you back. Maybe you're not even aware of the fear, but you just keep procrastinating and putting something off. Something you know you want to do. Anything, could be small, could be big. It could be to do with a relationship, it could be a personal goal. And something you've just been putting off, ignoring, avoiding, or just pretending it's not as important as it really is. And just let that scenario or situation arise in your mind. And once you have this situation, just ask yourself, what are the things your inner voices are telling you about this? Usually fear. What's your fear telling you about it? What's the narrative? What's the language? Just let it play out. What are the sort of things, is when you think of that goal, what sort of voices come up in your head? What worries, concerns, what ifs? How does it keep you paralyzed? How does it keep you from acting? Again, just noticing it, not trying to work it out or analyze it. Just notice, observe, be curious. Allow it to be there. What if I fail? What if I get hurt? What if I'm rejected? What if I look stupid? I couldn't do such a thing. What if I'm embarrassed? What if I die? What are the things your voice is telling you to do? What are the things your voices are scared of? Usually this voice, the negative voice, is the Yetzer Hara. Maybe it's full of criticism. Who are you to do that? Who do you think you are? Just notice the thoughts. Now I want you to take your attention to the reality. Separate away from those thoughts. Let them just dissolve off into the air. What is the reality right now around that situation? Just the facts. What's happened, what's not happened. What's the reality? What is the reality? It's just something new. It's unknown. Often it's an unknown. What is the reality right now around your situation? Now I want you to think of someone you admire, a mentor, someone who really knows you and who's wise and you trust. Trust their perspective on life. Look up to them and just choose a person in your life and ask them, what would you say about the situation? Or imagine what they would say to you about the situation. What advice would they have? Just see what voices come up in you when you imagine them telling you something, guiding you, giving you advice, wanting you to succeed, given the same reality of the situation. So what's important to notice is the voice that we're hearing in our own mind from our mentors is actually our own Yetzer Tov. It's our own soul's voice, higher voice. And we associate it with someone who we know loves us and cares about us, wants to guide us to good. We have that ability within us too. But really it's a mirror for our own higher self too. So just notice right now that even though this is probably what this mentor would say to you, it's also the voice of your own Yetzer Tov. And that's really the voice we want to listen to and empower and give influence to. That voice. To imagine yourself now listening to that advice and following through with it. At least a baby step, the first step. What would be the first step? And I want you to imagine yourself now in your mind's eye taking that first step. If fear arises, it arises, and just let it be there. Feel the fear and do it anyway. And just see yourself visually playing out that first step. And just notice how you feel. When you're ready, bringing your attention back into the room. 5, feeling your feet on the ground or on the chair. 4, listening to the sounds around you. 3, when you're ready, taking a deep breath. 2, in your own time, gently opening your eyes. And for many of you, I hope that you make a decision today to try it and take that first step. Let me know what happens. Have a great day.